The MSI Prospect 700R is a truly spectacular case with some very cool tricks up its sleeve, and a few drawbacks that I think you should be aware of if you plan on picking one of them up for yourself. Today in the studio with us is a fully built Meg Prospect 700R, and I haven't been this excited to play with the PC case since the 30th Special Edition Cooler Master build we did last year. You can click on one of these links to check that video out. Currently, this piece is spec'd out with an RTX 4070 Gaming X Trio from MSI, an i7 14700K, a MAG Z790 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi motherboard, 64GB of Gale Polaris RAM, 1TB MSI Spatium SSD, and one of the best looking coolers I've seen MSI presenting in quite some time, the Meg Core Liquid S360. Now, you might be thinking this is just another really good looking mid-tower beast of a PC case. However, the Meg Prospect 700R has got a little bit more up its sleeve than you'd notice right off the bat. For starters, it doesn't wobble. And I have to say well done to MSI, because it seemed like their design team took a while to figure this one out. But man, am I glad they did so, because this thing is sturdy. The amount of quality you can feel in the parts here is immaculate. And I don't use big words like this often because my vocabulary is really small, like Kevin Hart.
Get here, girl. Get here.
Now, when you turn your attention to the front, you'll notice a little 4.3-inch screen built right into the top of the case. And while sure everything and their grandma has a built-in screen these days, this is actually something really useful. It's an LCD touchscreen that functions like a touch control panel, which allows you to do things like fix your fans that are running too slow. It's just a click and boom, just like that. Want your PC to match your vibes? Click and boom. Unicorn poop. Great going, you well-functioning adult. For reals though, I really like the fact that most of you guys matched my vibe. You guys are my tribe, yeah? Too much? I thought so. By the way, if you're a sideline viewer like all of these guys, why don't you just hop on the cool wagon and join the tech family, the We Do Tech family? Leave a comment below, why don't you? I'd love to answer back. I always do. I have a 100% success rate. Now, if you're wondering what the weather is like out there, the scary world, you can even check it on the screen, because going outside is scary, and we gamers, we melt outside. Anyways, that's just some of the things that you can get here. But let's take a look at the case itself now and double back to its screen and its coolest feature a little bit later. The Prospect 700R is a nicely sized tower, a bit on the bigger side, but in my opinion, that's a pretty good thing. The case has tons of space and leaves a lot of room for customization. The key part of customization is the cable management channel right here. It's completely removable and comes with quite a few options you can put in its place, like this fan or radiator bracket that just lets you add a 360mm radiator, bringing the total up, by the way, to 3. That's right, 3 radiators. You can easily fit up to 10 120mm fans in this thing, although it does come with 4 140mm fans included. Now, if you have an E80X motherboard, you can install this little piece to move all the mounting points and cable management holes to a better place. There's even a custom water cooling distribution plate made specifically for here that you can buy separately from EKWB, which looks fantastic, and I could honestly easily see somebody building a very cool and pretty crazy custom loop in here. Like, just imagine the possibilities. And there's enough space for graphics cards up to 400mm long, so honestly anything should easily fit in here. And the same goes for CPU coolers as well. The max is 185mm, so if you prefer air cooling, you won't even have any issues with that. Now, while we're on the topic of ventilation, the vented points all have this nice triangular design to them, which allows for a lot of airflow. And all of them come with this cool mesh filter to help stop dust from getting into your system, which is a nice touch. And on a side note, the panels feel, like I said in the beginning of this video, really solid. But how about actually building inside of the case? My experience overall was, it's pretty easy. The biggest issue we had was there isn't a lot of space to work with around the power supply, which isn't the biggest problem because the shroud is completely removable. Otherwise, cable management is pretty easy too. MSI added well thought out dedicated channels for your cables to keep everything looking sleek. The back of the case is also properly thought through. For example, at the top here is the RGB and fan hub that hooks up to the front LCD panel and to your motherboard that gives you easy access to anything plugged in here. And for hard drives, there are 2 2.5-inch drive mounts up here and an extra 2 3.5-inch drive bays down at the bottom, which are completely removable. And between you and me, I'd probably do exactly that, just for the extra space. So looking at the Meg Prospect 700R from a bit of a zoomed out perspective, who is this case for? I mean, it's a pretty great case overall, a bit on the bigger side, so if you're limited on space, that might be something to keep in mind, although it does make it pretty easy to build in. The LCD panel is a useful extra, especially when it comes to keeping an eye on your PC temperatures, having easy access to your fan speeds, and the opportunity for meme placements, might I add. Initially, I thought the screen sits at a bit of an awkward angle, but it really doesn't, especially if you have it on the floor. Floor gang, where you at? Anybody remember that PewDiePie reference? Let me know who still remembers that, seriously, in the comment section below. The nice thing about this screen is that it has its own software that you can connect to, which even further opens up the possibility for customization. Now, there's only one drawback to this PC, and that is the price. It is quite expensive. It looks fantastic. It's very well built. It has a lot of customization options and fantastic airflow, which I think would be perfect for a custom water cooling system. But I think most of what you pay for is for the little screen there. Now, whether that's worth it for you, that's for you to decide. This was Stefan from WeDoTech checking out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers, guys. Bye.